Okay. All right, that should be that. Yeah, I'll turn that off. We could keep it on for a sec until we should be good. All right, welcome to the second SF Film Club. Thanks for thanks for showing up. Yeah, excited to do this again. The agenda for today is pretty simple. We're going to look at a few clips from some stuff I've watched in the past month, and then we're going to have Will is going to build a camera rig, show us some stuff, and then we're going to have some community presentations at the end. Yeah, and then next slide. Scene breakdowns. Will, yeah, very simple. The next. Oh, for myself? Yeah, I'm Ben. I'm an independent producer in San Francisco. I was a software engineer my whole career, and I've been doing film for the past year. So, yeah, that's my background. I didn't prepare anything, so it's not elaborate. SOE Film Fund. This is a huge thing. I'm very adamant about. Yeah, I read all these notes. The arts in SF have kind of languished. Silicon Valley is very rich in capital, but it's not artistic vision-wise. It's not basically impoverished. So anyway, I made this fund, the SV Film Fund. It's a $15,000 short film grant. I'm quite serious about funding some like serious cinema. I wrote like a whole memo about this on this site. But I think like Silicon Valley's people and characters are basically completely absent from the cinematic medium in the realist light. This is somewhat of an experiment, but I'm very sure that this is like a big gap to fill. So yeah, there's this grant, 15 to 20 minute short film, and the goal is to fund authentic interior cinema. And the goal is eventually for this to be like a pool of capital that people end up like donating to fund exceptional artists to create these works. But I think we just need to get the ball rolling. So I'm just like starting that. So yeah, share it to a friend or submit your own script if you'd like. Next, yeah, so I've watched 21 features in the past month. And basically the way I do these is I kind of just pick scenes and things that I found interesting. So we're gonna look at some of that. But yeah, Bicycle Thieves, Breathless, some like French New Wave stuff. Then you can go next slide. Yeah, so I'm reading this really interesting book by Andrei Tarkovsky, one of the greatest directors of all time. He actually wrote a whole book called Sculpting in Time. And it's one of it's not this like hand wavy kind of artsy book. He dives into like really in-depth detail on exactly how he does everything in his film. It's basically his total philosophy on cinema. The reason I'm showing a clip on Mirror today is because it's so non-linear. It basically broke my whole conception of like, oh, characters, 3-act structure. His philosophy is he's thinking almost outside of the medium completely. He sees cinema as like, how do you shape experience and memory in time? Yeah, he basically reflects on the nature of human memory, time, and basically every aspect of cinema. And it's so the language is crystal clear. It's not like hand wavy. He knew absolutely what he was doing, and he had a lot of conviction behind his like very non-conformist idea. So, and he had this quote. So he says, through poetic connections, feeling is heightened, and the spectator is made more active. He becomes a participant in the process of discovering life. Complexities of thought and poetic visions of the world do not have to be thrust into the framework of the patently obvious. The usual logic, that of linear sequentiality, is uncomfortably like the proof of a geometric theorem. Associative linking allows for an effective as well as a rational appraisal. So basically he's saying we're appealing both to emotion as well as people's rational senses. And a lot of his films basically tap into your own memories. He's tapping his own most painful memories. But what it does is it basically activates those same memories within you. So you're almost bringing the watcher into what they're watching. So we're going to look at a clip from one of his films. So you can go next slide. So yeah, I just titled this Nonlinear Form. And yeah, this movie floored me because I was like, I've never watched something that accessed these like, I don't know, just these dark, painful memories. And it's like his memories, but it's like, yeah, he calls it like nonlinear form. But this is a clip from Mirror 1975. It's the film is basically like a montage of his like childhood memories, and he like takes you through that. So we're gonna look at that first clip. Yeah, I think I already queued it up. Oh yeah, what to look for? Look for the hypnotic rhythm of the poetry. There's a rhythm to the dialogue that puts you in a certain trance, a certain state. You can also almost taste the image. There's a moment in it where a cat's licking licking milk off this like wooden floor. So he's tapping into almost every sense. He's tapping into your sense of taste, your memory. Also the sonic effects of the dogs. What effect does that have? It creates almost like this panic. And watch how slow the Steadicam movements are. It's a very slow Steadicam movement, almost like memory, like how your memories move. And also pay attention to where the camera stops. So where does he let you absorb the image? And the quiet violence of the cabin burning at the end is crazy. So yeah, we'll just play the clip. Yeah, and then you can full screen. It should be.
Свиданий наших каждое мгновенье мы праздновали, как богоявленье, одни на целом свете. Ты была смелей и легче птичьего крыла, в темноте светилась и медленно клонилась нагота, и, просыпаясь, будь благословенна, я говорил, и знал.
There's a quiet intensity to Tarkovsky's films that he's basically accessing his like most painful memories. So yeah, I really like that. That's I think one of my favorite frames in cinema, like that cabin with the fire. It's a very loaded image. Yeah, storytelling, transmission of experience. It just happens that 3-act structure emerges from this kind of fundamental layer of like you're just transmitting experience. And for a long time, I was like, oh, okay, well, you know, where's Act 2, Act something? But after watching Tarkovsky's films, I was like, wow, this is like a complete other layer of, you know, explaining your thoughts. Go to the next one. Yeah, if you have any like hard rules about cinema, they're probably wrong. It's basically like shaping human memory or human experience, and there's like principles, but there's like no rules really. I'm always constantly surprised every time I watch something new. Yeah. Okay. Next one. And then this next one is the color of Pomegranates. I forgot that I think it's like Parajanov is the director. It's basically a extreme experiment in color, movement, and just so many different techniques you can use within a frame to create a sense of viewing rhythm. You know, across color, movement, composition, you know, skin tones. It's basically like cinema pushed to its limits in a non-linear way. And yeah, I wrote like it's 100% vibes. It's like no plot. Yeah, sounds, taste. You can almost like taste the image and you can taste the paper or like feel it. And then that one, yeah, we'll just play it from there. Yeah, I think that it's just like a raw exercise in just like texture, composition, movement in the frame. Quite interesting. I enjoyed it. Yeah, so this next one is from Medicine for Melancholy. It was made by Barry Jenkins in 2008, and I think the budget was like $15,000. And I think it's like 1 hour, 30 minutes long. And it's a really amazing. It's amazing how much you could do with such a small budget. I thought this scene was particularly impactful, just the way it kind of progresses and escalates. But yeah, we'll just play this clip and then yeah.
This is a one-night stand.
So I've been one night. Can't believe about that.
Yeah, I thought that scene was, I think it was so powerful. He basically just sort of, like, showed up to this merry-go-round. Yeah, it gradually escalated from, like, you know, wider shots to closer shots, and you basically built this intimacy with almost like no resources. It's amazing how much you could do. Yeah, so those were the clips. It's 7:45. Will is going to build a camera rig. We'll turn the lights on, and he'll do that.
Yay. I kind of just want to keep it like this. Okay, hey guys, I'm Will. I run a production company here. I used to work at A24 doing film stuff and also was a software engineer like Ben. I have studied underneath a lot of amazing cinematographers and just moved my company from New York out here. So doing a lot of like tech films and whatnot, and just very excited about like new emerging media and both like new emerging media styles and like trying to bring like a bunch of the like, we sit on the shoulders of giants of all of the hundreds of years of cinema history that I've been lucky enough to study to like, you know, mix that with a lot of like new technologies, whether that's like AI film production or just like recycling old YouTube techniques from the 2010s to make like engaging content and kind of trying to create like a hybrid studio vibe. So yeah, anyway, so this is my camera. I wanted to like give folks like a hands-on, you know, situation of it in case folks haven't like had a cinema camera on hand before. So this is the Arri Amira. It's one of the older Arri cinema cameras. It has the ALEV 3 sensor on it, which won the majority of Oscars for the last 10 years, I want to say, on it. But this camera's like a documentary style body, so I think the only movie that ever won awards with this specific body was Nomadland. But it's a great camera. I love the camera. I love the color science of it. And I'll just give you guys a quick tour of like all the little elements of it. Is that interesting to you guys? Yeah. To learn how this stuff? Okay, cool. Can I like, I'll move this along to this thing just so you can kind of see this and the elements of it. So the first thing is the battery. There's a couple different battery systems that are standard in Hollywood. I use V-mounts. They're these bad boys that clip on up top. I just have a single mount right now, but oftentimes you'll throw what's called a shark on it, which has two batteries side by side, so you can pop one off and keep it going, and then like do hot swaps because these cameras take a really long time to boot and they have old firmware on them. And sometimes I need to get up to temperature to make sure that the sensor is working perfectly, especially in like cold environments and stuff. So keeping the hot swap available is great. This is called a D-tap. There are two main power supplies in fancy cinema cameras. There's D-taps, which are basically shaped like, they have like a square on the bottom, and then they're, you know, kind of like you ever see like the squircle, like a square circle with rounded rect situation on one side? And that'll deliver power from your main power block on the back to all the accessories over the camera. So then you're not like dealing with all these small batteries dying on a per accessory basis. And then you also have splitters. So I have a D-tap splitter over there that'll like split all the power supply, so I can just like run like 7 different units off of on top of the camera. So this is only half built.
Real quick, do you want like a chair to put that up on?
Sure, yeah, come on, bring that over, man. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, cool. And then, so this side is just for audio leveling. That's like not super standard in like cinema cameras, but this one's like a documentary style camera, so it lets you like monitor all that on the fly. And then on this side, you get a bunch of dials to do your menu shit, but importantly, like you can adjust your white balance here on a flip and like, you know, whatever, like exposure index, all that fun stuff. And then the neutral density filter here is kind of like, for those who aren't aware, are like sunglasses for your camera, just because you want to like open your aperture up as much as possible, sometimes to get a big sexy image, and sometimes if there's too much light, you want to limit the amount of sun that comes in. Up front here is called a matte box, for those who aren't familiar with it. It fits, it's really annoying because these clamp-on matte boxes are like based on the lens barrel width, and so you kind of have to get these step-down rings that fit on different lenses. This one is the same as my standard lenses, which is great. This is called the Angenieux 15 to 40 EZ lens. I really love it because, for those who are unfamiliar, Angenieux is a French zoom lens company. They make other lenses too, but their zooms are just insanely awesome. And this is like a modern build, but it still has like a lot of nice vintage character. Some of the best lenses and the most expensive lenses to rent, which I rent a lot from VideoFax in San Francisco, which is an amazing rental house. They have modern construction and modern builds, so the gears are really nicely oiled, so you can like run motors alongside your lenses, while also keeping a lot of these like imperfections of the glass that's built up over a ton of years. and like, you know, coatings that age in a very specific way give you like this really nice vintage look, and that's why like these lenses are collector's items. One of my favorite DPs that I work with is like, you know, I only want my lenses that they're super fucked up. Like I want to see like a Victorian child died on my lens in, you know, 1927, and you know that's what I'm going to pay $1,000 a day to rent. So, and some lenses go up to like, you know, I don't know, $10,000 a day to rent just because they're so exclusive. Yeah. So, I mean, they're like $2 million Panavision lenses that you can't buy, and whatever else. And for certain movies, like the look is worth it, right? If you're spending $1 million a day on your production, you know, so. I mean, most movies. I was working a TV show the other day, and they had Panavision 70 to 200 zooms. I think they're pretty expensive. Panavision is like, I would say, the highest end cinema glass company. They're like a Fujinon premium line to manufacture the glass, but they've renamed themselves to be even bougier. And they have this thing called the Panavision Sparkle. Like a lot of old westerns were shot on them. And they're awesome. They look amazing, and I've never had a chance to shoot on them because they're too expensive. Anyways, that's why I shoot on the Ingenues. Mapbox is great because it holds a bunch of filters, so you can really customize your image in camera. A lot of people will like, you know, DaVinci Resolve, the color grading software, will like add a bunch of effects onto stuff to make it look better. I prefer to do it in camera just because you get like, I don't know, like when I'm on set, I want to see the final image. I want to get as close to the final image as possible, and it also like has a more, you know, obviously physics accurate approach to like diffusing highlights if you're using diffusion filters. The polarizer you can't do in post. Polarizers are like really helpful for, yeah, I won't get too into specifics, but when you're looking at water and you want to minimize reflections and minimize like reflections on like skin. If like someone's skin's really oily that you're interviewing and you don't want to tell them they look bad, you throw a polarizer on and it softens it up on their skin. Which happened to me today actually, and I didn't have a polarizer, so I just wiped his face down and then it was fine. So, okay, and then more on this, like, so these big lenses will break your mount on your camera. This is a PL mount system. For those who are unfamiliar, the Arri invented the PL mount. They've been around for like 100 years. This is an Arri. It's like a really nice mount because it's like a locking mount. A lot of like modern like prosumer cameras have really thin metal that locks in, whereas the PL mounts have like really deep metal. So you shove it in, it's like pipes fitting together, and then you have like a locking mount system here. And then, yeah, I do an onboard monitor. Over here, like I didn't put my accessories on right now, but like I never trust autofocus. DPs never trust autofocus. Maybe it's nice for a talking head with your Sony FX3, but when you're really needing focus pulling, you need the focus to follow the emotions of the scene. And so you have a conversation with a human that's feeling the scene and is pulling the focus for you. So that's why you throw a motor on the side of those bars. There are two sets of bars. There's 15mm bars for lightweight rigs like this one, and then when the rigs get even bigger, you have 19mm studio bars, which can hold even bigger accessories on it. So this is like a mid-power motor. It controls the focus here. And then this is an analog motor system called the Preston Microforce, and that will sit on your tripod, and it'll like wire into your battery system as well, and it'll power the zoom. So today I was doing some fancy zooming and whatnot, which I'll show you in a couple minutes. And you know, when I'm moving my camera around on sliders and stuff, I want to be able to zoom with like just my thumb, and that's why the Preston's really nice. And then if I was doing an even bigger shoot, I would probably throw another motor on my aperture ring, so I could, you know, gently work with the exposure as I'm kind of like moving through the image in case I'm going from highlight zones into shadow zones and I need to like compensate. It mimics the human eye as I'm like opening my aperture and whatnot. So, and this is the viewfinder. It's electronic, and yeah, this is like in film. Use an SDI cable instead of an HDMI cable. I don't really know why, but you have to, and it's locked. And it locks into itself, so you never break it. Anyways. The viewfinder is just always on. It's got a little flip monitor, which is actually not super color accurate. This is like very color accurate and very expensive. Guess how much this stupid monitor costs, this 7-inch monitor, just for the color accuracy? $2,000. Yeah, $2,000. It's annoying, I hate it. But I got it as like a B from the lab because it wasn't like 100% color accurate, and it was like $900, so I was like pretty stoked on it. Anyways, you guys want to touch it? I'll pass around in case anyone wants to touch it. Basically, just grab the top handle. It's really sturdy. It's not going to do anything. I'm going to clamp this down just to be extra safe. But it's like, I think built out like this, it's like 18, 20 pounds.
Oh, okay.
So,
Less
yeah. What? I'm kidding, sorry. I'm joking. You're saying my heavy camera sucks?
I'm gonna drop all like
Yeah.
$10,000 worth
Okay,
of this.
there you go.
Okay, it
Cool.
actually is kind of heavy.
Yeah, it's actually $100,000. No, that camera's not that expensive these days. But new, it's like, I think it's like a $50,000 camera new, but now it's like, I got it for 10 used, so. Yeah, the lens is like a 10. Yeah, you can zoom the lens too if you want to. The focus is on the front, so I don't have it rigged up, and then the mid is the zoom, and it gets really wide too. And we can actually turn the lights on because this camera is like not super good at low light. Yeah, you can do whatever you want. The focus puller. So these bars lock in via a clamp here, and when I mount my focus motor on it, then sometimes because there's like a lot of pressure with like the gears of the focus motor and the rings of the lens, and if I hit the end of it, it'll pop off, and then I'm in the middle of like the most amazing performance of my life, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, fuck, oh my god, I'm gonna win a fucking Oscar with this thing, and then the focus motor pops off, and then my focus person can't see anything, and then I just cry, and it's terrible, and then we retake. Like, one thing that I love is like there's this, I forget who said this, but I think it was Daniel Radcliffe said this, like, the actors get unlimited takes, but the crew only gets one. You know, if you're a focus puller, it's like the hardest job on set, in my opinion, because you're just sitting there like staring at your tiny screen trying to make sure that Margot Robbie's irises are in focus the entire fucking time. And if you fuck up, then you're the one who fucked up Margot Robbie's perfect take, you know? So it's, people are really neurotic about it. That's why my focus puller today, he basically tests the lens beforehand and like marks everything perfectly on this thing to make sure that like, even as he's checking the monitor, he's like, he puts tape marks down the floor as the actor's walking so that he can match the tape mark distance with my camera with his like wheel and stuff like that. So again, you have to be really neurotic. I would say like being the first assistant camera operator is like the most stressful job on set. Anyways, any questions?
You also do something for distortions?
Like distortions on the lens, so that's just really about your lens choice. So like this is it's not very distorted, it's pretty rectilinear throughout the entire zoom range. Whereas like, depending on the story, I might want to fuck my shit up a lot. And so then I would use like some old spherical Canon FD lenses. Yeah, exactly. Fisheye is super fucked. But like if I want it to be like fucked but cinematic, then I would do some like old lens from like, you know, the 50s that was trying to be a good lens, but it's from the 50s and they were idiots and the lens doesn't quite work perfectly, but that's great. You know what I mean? Does that answer the question? Sorry, I talk a lot.
How does the white balance on camera work? Like, does it pull up something on the screen, or like do you turn a knob?
Yeah, you turn a knob on this one just because it's meant to be a single operator documentary style camera. Usually you go into the settings on like an Area Mini or something, which is half the weight and has the exact same sensor in it. It's all just like screen
So you
stuff.
can just like directly adjust.
Yeah, you just crank it with the flip. Well, you have hot points. So like I would have 3 things that I hard code into my triple switch, and then I could move between them like daylight balance, tungsten balance, and then like room tone stuff.
So are the sensors also different, like camera sensors?
On different brands? Or yeah, I mean that's the whole reason you get that, like why that huge fucking chunk of metal is like worth it, is because Arri has been a film company that has done like physical film for like 100 years, and they've created all these patents in the way that you render skin tones down to the sensor level. So down to the physics of the sensor, they have way bigger photo sites than traditional things, so you get more information per pixel. It's only a 3.2K camera, so it's not even 4K. But the photo sites are really big, so you get a lot of really great information, and the skin tone rendering is way more accurate because they've patented their skin tone rendering. And there's also a lot of great color separation that you don't quite get in like Sony cameras or Red cameras, and there's like a lot of calibration to this. So they were like the first to do perfect, you know, color rendering, and so that's why I prefer that. Sony's got good color separation as well. Red is pretty good. It's less preferred than Sony to me. And then everything else I haven't had any luck with. I can talk about it. No, I'm going to talk about it in 2 seconds. I was just like, do I wait? Do I not? Yeah, I can talk about it in a second here. Yeah, can I wait for like 2 seconds to talk about it? Okay, thanks, brother. Wait, were there any more questions? I feel like I steamrolled that.
How accurate are like emulations, like, you know, the answer that you
Yeah.
like how accurate it is compared to the filters that you have?
Like,
Blue.
it's, you know, I don't know, like it depends like what your end result is. Like if you want to put it on like the big screen, it's like gonna have like pretty like a flat, at least my experience with like diffusion, like there's like, I always use like halation and diffusion as my emulation in post. it kind of has like a flat effect where it uniformly applies that across the image. I prefer something that like is a little bit imperfect in a lot of ways, and like I just find that doing it physically works a bit better. But like if you're posting on Twitter, like I don't think it matters at all. Like just skip the filter, give yourself all the room in post, like customize it. I'm very bullish on like there is a asymmetric, or like what's the fucking computer science term? It's like something that is perfectly predictable versus something that can change every time you run it. You know what I mean? Deterministic, yeah, whatever the fuck. So yeah, it's deterministic when it's in your computer, but if you're running film grain, it's like the manufacturer could have like, farted and like made the film grain different, and that's like the imperfections, that's amazing. And so I'm like really hopeful that AI models that do film emulation can bring that non-determinism back into film emulation too. So if anyone's working on that, that's smarter than me, that would be epic. Did that answer your question? I like, a lot of it is like hand wavy, like I don't fully know, I've been trained to use the physical stuff. Like it could be the case that like the digital stuff works just as well, but I haven't had luck with at least the current diffusion filters and halation filters in DaVinci on like big screen pieces that I've like shown.
Do you know people who like work in the industry or who have used those filters?
Everyone I've ever worked with that's a professional does it in camera on the Mapbox. I think a lot of it is like a safety thing, It's like, this is what works, why would I risk it on something, And then also a bunch of DPs are like old and they just don't care. And they're like, that's the way that I fucking do it, shut the fuck up. So yeah, like I was talking to one the other day and he was like, the film, you cannot tell it's crystals. The crystals, you cannot predict the crystals. I never shoot digital because there's no crystals involved. So yeah, anyways, here's some lenses. They're super cheap, as you can see, to a guy like me. And so, yeah, they can be really expensive. Prime lenses don't zoom at all, so they're perfectly machined, back on your point, like the rectilinear thing. They're like perfectly machined for certain focal lengths. So like right here, I have a bunch of prime lenses where like this thing doesn't zoom, but it looks fucking perfect at 14 millimeters, the only focal length it does. Whereas this one, the one that's on the thing, is an Angenu, but it's like a shorter Angenu, and it like zooms. This one zooms way more, and it's way more expensive. Then you get zoom lenses. That's pretty obvious to people. Okay, move on, because I'm touching the computer, so I'm gonna do it. Okay, and then also character is a big thing to think about in your lens selections, and it's just how it, serves the story. Really just like, how much do you want to fuck your shit up? Like in, I think this is a Poor Things thing. Like you can see there's this massive swirl around here. That's like a Petzval lens. If you do Canon FD spherical glass, you can get something that's like a little bit more stylized and swirly. But if I'm filming like Sam Altman and Johnny Ive at a coffee shop, I probably don't want it to look like that. I'd probably use something a lot safer, like a prime lens that looks really clean. But like if I'm filming an art piece, like if I film this on like my clean lenses, it probably wouldn't look as good, And so Anora uses these anamorphic lenses, which is actually this new film company that's been creating these amazing modern lenses were used in part of it. And they're called Atlas. They're very cheap for anamorphic glass. Normally anamorphic lenses are like $50,000 per lens. They're only $10,000 per lens, yay. Yeah, they look really good. I'm gonna just show you this because they look fucking dank. But what anamorphic lenses do, is this gonna play? Oh, do I have to like, sorry, I'm a Luddite. Let me, can I just Google it? Atlas Lens Co. show reel. Oh no, I don't have internet, that's why. Can someone please give me internet? Anyways, yeah, so anamorphic lenses, what they do is like, back on like 35 millimeter film days, like you didn't get enough width, and people were like really upset about TV screens, I think, and so they didn't want their like sick art to be on TV screens and like totally fucked up. So they invented, like, they were like, widescreen is like the auteurs format, and then it kind of tricked all of our brains to think that like, oh, if something's wider, it looks better. So I don't know if you see people on YouTube like add fake letterboxes to their films to make them like look sicker. But yeah, I feel like we're trained to think widescreen. But so in order to do that, they have like a physical element of the lens that stretch the image, or like squeeze the image twice only on the horizontal axis. And so what that does is it lets you fit twice as much width into your image without fucking with the height of it at all. And they create this really unique character where the blurry elements of the image look like they're stretched, but the in-focus areas of your image aren't changed very much. And you also get these like flares that like split the frame and do all this cool horizontal. Oh yeah, so clean lenses, like this kind of stuff, like I just shoot interviews on them and it's like not fucked up at all, and I don't like it, but that's what the client wants. Sorry, I hope they didn't see this. Okay, filters. Yeah, so part of the reason why I feel like the camera looks especially dank right now, even though we're just in kind of a non-cinematic room, no offense to the room, is because of filtration. So if you add like this filter here, you can actually bloom your highlights so it behaves like old film. Old film, like all the parts of it that are not the highlighted area, like this is like physically not true. This is true. This is not. Why is there a bloom? But the film, it like bleeds into the neighboring pixels because of the chemistry of the film paper, and so you're emulating that when you're using these filters because it bleeds the highlights a little bit more. And then there's a polarizer. There's a billion different things that you can put in front of your camera to customize the image beyond just like the lens selection. Oh yeah, here's what I was doing today with that camera. I'll show you some stuff. Where is this? Oh yeah, we did like a diopter, so like you can like throw like magnifiers on the lens to like increase the minimum focus and then make it kind of like a magnifying glass. So like, what? No, that's like 4K full frame. So I'm probably gonna move in a little bit more, and then you can like throw like an app logo on the eyeball, and then it's like super cool and B2B SaaS vibes. And then, yeah, we had him on the toilet too, screaming about his like lottery win. So that was really fun. We like threw rails on the ground, and like as we threw the rails back, I used that focus puller to like yank the focus back so that it felt like a really violent moment when he's like winning this lottery or whatever. So yeah, using the technology for fun. Any questions about any of this stuff? Oh yeah, sure. So yeah, I had like this long rail rig where the thing's on like a skateboard down here. I had it yanked up with the lens all the way zoomed in, and I just yanked it back down and like zoomed out at the same time. And I was using those filters there too, but not all of them that are in there. We're making a lot of Twitter videos for people these days. So we made this one, and it was like kind of like 2010 YouTube style or whatever. Does the volume work on this thing or no? Cool. Yeah. Okay.
These are the people building Gumble. This is how much money we just raised. And this is an overly produced video explaining how we got here. First, I met my co-founder through pure luck.
My co-founder quit this morning, so I'm looking for another one.
Apply to YC.
Hi, YC.
Get into YC. And build something people love. Talk to users. Talk to them so much they joined the company. Hired a lot of Canadians. Automated almost 800 million tasks across some of the world's fastest growing companies like Ramp, Gusto, Shopify, and Samsara.
Gumloop lets teams automate work. We let the people who actually do the job day to day build their own agents, connect it to all of their internal data, power it with all of the best LLMs on the market, and then we give you every single enterprise security feature you'd want on top of that.
It always starts with a few people building agents, their coworkers get excited, the rest of the team starts building.
Okay, so that was like very different than most of the stuff that we do normally, because that was like kind of, I don't know, I feel like it was like, we're trying to be like Casey Neistat style. It wasn't like the whole like, I want to make some cinematic art all the time. But for some reason, the tech community liked it a lot more than a lot of the stuff that we normally do. Oh, you just have to eat it. Well, so it's hard. So it's like, in my head, I'm like, okay, like if you want me to make something bad, like I can make something bad for you. Like, and then I just turn off my like opinions, and then I just make something, and then they realize it's bad, and I'm like, sorry, we already made the damn movie. It's bad. Like, you know, whatever. And so usually the protocol goes, they present bad idea, you say that's bad. They say either I want to make it anyway, or what do you think? And if they say I want to make it anyways, then you make a bad movie, and then you say, sorry, if you want to make another movie, it'll cost you the same amount again. So yeah, does that make sense? Like, sorry, I'm just hanging out.
Thank you so much.
Dude, of course, yeah.
Hey guys, I can give a brief introduction. Hi, I'm Xiao. I'm a filmmaker. I am based in San Francisco. This is like filmmaking has been like a very long journey, but I wanted to there's like one project that means a lot to me. This is like the first like project I ever did, and essentially it's just like a conversation between my mom and I. And yeah, I'll talk a bit more about it afterwards, but yeah, I learned a lot from this project. Thank you.
我要飞，飞向远方。
去看大千世界，开阔眼界。我要飞向远方，去创造新的生活。这个是姥姥她照的一张照片，然后回来之后她写的一首诗。你像今年夏天回去，她觉得她想把这首诗送给你，因为很符合你现在的这个这个阶段。
这就是以前我小时候住的那个环境就是这样。上那边转一圈，再转一圈。我出生之后呢，我妈妈身体不好，所以我从小是在我奶奶家长大的，有太姥姥、太姥爷，有我的姑姑。对，这个就是感觉是一个家。就上小学的时候，那时候每天放学就是在外面玩，一起玩捉迷藏。
一辈子，一生情，一杯酒，一杯酒。
Hey guys, hey folks. Yeah, so there are like a couple main points I want to talk, not specifically about the project, but kind of like the things that I've learned from this. I think there are a couple main things. I think the first thing is like in terms of like starting out, sometimes it feels really daunting and really intimidating to be, you have to be like Will, you have to get an Arya Mirror, you have to, get massive lenses, you have to get jacked like him. Like you don't have to. Like you could do this with very, very little starting out. And it's like, I also think that it's very hypocritical to say that gear doesn't matter. Like, I think that is a complete lie. Gear 100% matters. As someone who shot like his past two things on like RE minis and like I understand the value of gear and big crews, but I think in terms of like just starting out and like raw storytelling ability and one training your eye and one training what you can, your sense of narrative. I think there's no better way than to just start doing it. Just like, just gotta just pick up a camera and like, yeah, if it's your phone, whatever, just go make something. And the second thing is like, there's a lot of value in revisiting old projects. So this was done, the first draft of this was like 2 minutes ago and it was 4 times as long. Isn't that crazy? And then every time like I learned a new thing, it would be like I wouldn't like specifically intend on coming back and like revising this, but every once in a while I would think of this, I'd rewatch it and I'd be like, oh my God, like this is so bad. And then like you'd apply what you learned again and then you just like keep hammering it down. Is this like I don't think that this is perfect. I don't think this is like fully representative of like what is like the peak, but I also think it has like a very, it's very, has a very special place to me personally. I think it was a very important time capsule for my family and I. And yeah, I think beyond that, you guys should just do not be afraid to revisit old projects or like revisit old footage. There's so much old like archival footage from this that like I like didn't even know existed until like I like rewatched things with like a fresh eyes or like with like another year of experience. I think that's also something that I don't think is done enough. I don't think people go back to like old narrative projects or their old student films with what they know now, and then like try to make that better. I think that is a very, very, very underrated learning opportunity. And yeah, those are my main. Yeah, and then in the future, on like the narrative side, currently just heads down, trying to like focus on feature writing. There's like a horror short that I'm working on, and like just trying to push myself in different direction. I think it's very important to like not seek fulfillment in work you're doing for money. It's like if you're putting your heart into something that like a client has a final say over, I think it's very important to keep those two sides separate. Like your personal work can have like a big impact on your professional work, which I think is great. That's what makes you like special to the market. But also, if you're trying to chase fulfillment in numbers, I don't think that's what this is for. I think that's a big pitfall a lot of people fall into. A lot of people who deeply love film try to find like their purpose in life through directing like better and better Nike commercials. But at the end of the day, it's still like a commercial for Nike. It's still a commercial for fashion.
They own the fucking thing. It's not
exactly. Yeah. You can't. If you want to make something, I'd say just go make your money elsewhere and then make something that is 100% yours. Yeah.
When in your filmmaking journey did you make this? Like, was it early on, like a couple years ago, or what?
Yeah, this is like very. Well, I'd done like photography before this, so this was not like straight out the gate. Like I'd done like photography. I'd like spent a big chunk of my childhood like with a camera trying to figure out like what makes an image pretty. So I think an advantage of that was like on a relatively low budget. Like the camera here was like it's like a hybrid photo video camera, and like the audio was like voice memos on like if you zoomed out of the interview frame, the reason it's like 5x4 is like if you zoom out slightly, like it's just like my iPhone on like a trash can. Like it was janky ass setup. Yeah.
Wait, that was iPhone footage?
The audio was iPhone audio. Footage was not iPhone footage.
So you said the first point, like, keep training your eye.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Yeah, that's a good point. I think the best way to do that is just through photography. I think the issue with training your eye through filmmaking is like the iterations. It's like each cycle takes too long to train. I'm trying so hard not to make like an SF joke about that. SF like machine learning joke. But yeah, if you want like something that has like a very fast feedback cycle. With photos, you like take a photo, you're like, oh, this is bad, and then you like move on, and you're like, how do I make this less bad? And that's the best way to train your eye. And it's like it's an ever evolving process. You got to train your data set. You got to scroll through good, high quality data, and then you just like go out there and practice. Yeah, exactly.
How do you attract commercial work when you're just getting started?
You get very lucky when you first get started. Actually, no, you don't get. You make what's called a spec commercial. This is what's known in the industry as like spec. It's like speculative. It is not actually for the brand, but you make like a tight beat commercial for the brand. My entire career is built off of one 30-second fake Google commercial that that kind of built like my entire like all the tech work that I did. But it's something that you make with low budget, something that just like shows that you kind of understand what the world is looking for, and from there people will be like, oh, you made this, I want this for my company, and then they start roping you in. Will, is that how you got started?
Yeah, but also like I would say that the video demands in San Francisco right now are so insane that like I don't think that the bar is that high too to just do a paid version of that spec thing, you know?
I agree, but the SF film world is not like the film world. And also, the film world is no longer the film world it used to be. So there's like, there actually is like, there's no like one film world. There's no one way to make it now. And you see a lot of like up and coming directors like Thomas Percy Kim. He's like this up and coming indie director. But he's like paving his own path. There are a lot of people going independent, going direct, and I think that is the next big wave in filmmaking. Yeah. Alrighty. Thank you guys.
Yeah, that was the last thing. Thank you guys for coming and staying this long. It's like 9:21, so like thanks for staying this long. Short Film Fund. If anyone knows any good writers, directors, I really want to do this, so share it if you know anyone, or if you write scripts and are a filmmaker. Yeah. But yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Thank you for coming. All right, you guys are free to stay and like talk or eat. And yeah, okay. I think we have to be out by like 9:30 or like 9:45, but we'll just like clean up. You guys can just talk to each other. And okay, yeah. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah.
When is the next one?
I'm doing these once a month, so the next one will be like mid-April.
Oh yeah.
So I'm just gonna regularly just like try to do these.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Cool.
you so much.
Yeah. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming. Yeah.